A rainy afternoon covered a quiet hardware store as Keanu Reeves stepped inside. A 13-year-old boy named Noah Carter stood frozen, his trembling hands holding $42 in crumpled bills. This was all the money he had left, and it was his last hope to surprise his mom, Maya, with a birthday gift. She had wanted an oven for a long time, but it was already sold. Then, a warm voice broke the silence. "Hey, kid, what's wrong?" At first, Noah didn't know what to say. He was too shocked and too sad to answer. The words from the cashier were still ringing in his ears. "Sorry, kid, someone already called for that oven an hour ago." But Keanu didn't walk away. He didn't just nod politely like most people would. Instead, he crouched down so he was at eye level with Noah, his broad shoulders hunched under his worn black jacket. "What's wrong?" Keanu asked again, this time in a soft voice, like he really cared and had all the time in the world to listen. Noah blinked, his crumpled bills wet from his sweaty palms. He barely whispered, "It's for my mom. Her birthday's tomorrow. She's always wanted that oven." Keanu nodded and smiled a little. It wasn't the big Hollywood grin people usually saw on him. It was a real, quiet smile. He looked at the empty space on the shelf where the oven had been, then back at Noah. "She sounds special," Keanu said, his voice gentle, making Noah feel like Keanu really understood. "What's her name?" Noah hesitated for a moment, then whispered, "Maya." Keanu's smile got a little bigger, just a bit. He said, "Maya, I like that name." He looked back at Noah. "Listen, we're not leaving here empty-handed. Not for Maya's birthday." Before Noah could understand what was happening, Keanu stood up. He didn't hurry. He moved slowly and calmly, like he had all the time in the world. He waved his hand toward the cluttered aisles of the store. "Come on," Keanu said. "Let's find something else." Noah, still in shock, followed behind him, his sneakers scuffing the floor. Was this real? Keanu Reeves, the famous movie star, was walking beside him, looking for a gift for his mom? It didn't feel real. Keanu stopped at a shelf full of wooden baking tools. He ran his fingers over a hand-carved rolling pin. "Does she bake a lot?" Keanu asked, looking back at Noah. Noah nodded quickly. "Yeah, all the time. Cakes, cookies, she's really good. She just doesn't have the right stuff to make it easier." Keanu picked up the rolling pin, then a matching set of measuring cups. He examined them closely, his brow furrowed. "These are solid," he said, almost to himself. "She'd like these." He turned to Noah, holding the cups out to him. "What do you think?" Noah looked at the set, then at the price tag. His heart sank. It was $50. He only had $42. "I don't have enough," Noah said, shoving the crumpled bills deeper into his pocket. Keanu waved it off, like the money didn't matter at all. "Don't worry about it," he said. "This one's on me." Noah's jaw dropped. Keanu was already walking to the counter, where a lanky cashier was staring at him in surprise. Keanu handed the measuring cups and rolling pin to the cashier without any fuss. "Wrap it up nicely," Keanu said, "and give the kid some change for his trouble." He slid a $100 bill across the counter like it was no big deal. The cashier was still staring at him in shock, but Keanu wasn't paying attention. He was focused on Noah. "So tell me about her," Keanu said casually, leaning on the counter with his arms crossed. "What's Maya like?" Noah shifted his feet, surprised that Keanu wanted to know more. She's the best," Noah said, his voice getting steadier. "She worked so hard after my dad died. It's just been me and her, and she never complains. She makes everything okay, even when it's not." Keanu listened closely, his eyes softening as Noah spoke. "Sounds like she's one of those people who keeps the world turning," Keanu said quietly. You're lucky to have her. Noah could barely hold back his tears. He clutched the wrapped gift in his hands, feeling something he couldn't quite name, maybe gratitude or maybe hope. He whispered, "Thank you." Keanu crouched down again, looking Noah in the eyes. "No need to thank me," Keanu said. "Just promise me you'll tell her it's from you. And from someone who thinks she's raising a hell of a kid." Noah nodded, his eyes starting to fill with tears. But Keanu wasn't done yet. He straightened up and looked around the store like he had an idea. "You live far from here?" Keanu asked. Noah shook his head. "No, just a couple miles." Keanu grinned. "Good. How about I give you a ride? Make sure this gift gets to Maya safely." Before Noah could say anything, Keanu was already walking him to the door. Outside, a black SUV was waiting by the curb. It wasn't anything flashy. It was just practical, like Keanu himself. Keanu opened the passenger door and motioned for Noah to get in. "Hop up," he said, smiling. Then he slid into the driver's seat, and the engine hummed to life. Keanu glanced over at Noah and asked, "Tell me more about Maya's baking. Any specialties?" Noah relaxed into the seat, the weight of the day slowly lifting. He started telling Keanu about Maya's lemon cakes, her cinnamon rolls, and how she always hummed while she worked. Keanu listened, nodding along, his hands steady on the wheel. What Noah didn't know was that Keanu was already thinking of something bigger than just giving him a ride or a birthday gift. Keanu's quiet way of acting hid a spark of an idea, one that could turn this rainy afternoon into the start of something extraordinary. For now, though, Keanu just drove, letting Noah talk about his mom's baking. Noah didn't notice, but the real surprise was still to come. Noah barely noticed the weight of the wrapped baking tools in his hands as they walked out of the store. His mind was still spinning. He had come into the store with only $42 and a fading hope. But now he was walking beside Keanu Reeves, clutching a gift he never could have afforded on his own. Keanu's quiet kindness felt like a lifeline, pulling Noah from the edge of despair. As they walked, Keanu rested his hand briefly on Noah's shoulder. It was a steadying touch, reassuring the boy. "Keep the change," Keanu said to the cashier, his voice low and calm, like buying something was no big deal. Noah looked at Keanu, trying to understand it all. Keanu didn't feel like the big movie star from the movies his mom watched late at night when Noah was supposed to be asleep. Here, in the dim light of the hardware store, Keanu was just a regular guy. He wore a black jacket and a cap, his beard a little scruffy. But his eyes were warm, and there was something about him that made Noah feel seen in a way he hadn't in years. "Why'd you do that?" Noah asked quietly, his voice almost lost in the hum of the store. Keanu stopped walking and turned to face him, crouching down again to look Noah in the eyes. "You were fighting for something," Keanu said simply. "I've been there. Trying to hold on to a little bit of hope when it feels like it's slipping away. It's not easy. I figured you could use a hand." Noah felt something tighten in his throat, a lump he couldn't swallow down. He thought of his mom, Maya, kneading dough at their kitchen table. Her hands covered in flour, her smile faint but real. She fought every day for him and for them. And now, for the first time in a long time, Noah felt like he could do something for her too. Keanu straightened up, a mischievous look in his eyes. "Come on," Keanu said, like he had an idea. "Let's make sure this gift is perfect for her." Noah followed, still feeling dazed, as they wandered deeper into the store. Keanu picked up a rusty old mixer and examined it with a playful frown before setting it down. "Too loud," he said. "Your mom deserves something with soul." Noah smiled a tiny bit. The knot in his chest loosened. "She likes quiet stuff," he said. "It helps her think." Keanu nodded like he was thinking carefully. They kept moving until Keanu's fingers brushed over the wooden baking set they had decided on. The rolling pin, the whisk, the spatula, smooth and hand-carved, the kind of thing Maya would call beautiful. Keanu lifted it again and said, "This feels right. She can hold on to it, you know? Like how she holds on to you." Noah looked at the gift, imagining his mom's face when she saw it. The birthday gift wasn't just an object anymore. It was a symbol of love, kindness, and hope. When Noah saw the gift in Keanu's hands, he almost heard her soft laugh in his mind. He could picture the way her eyes would squint at the corners whenever she smiled. "She'll love it," he whispered, more to himself than to Keanu. The man smiled, this time a real smile, not just the polite one he often wore. "Good, then it's settled," Keanu said, handing the package back to Noah. His voice lowered, like he was telling a secret. "Tell her it's from you. And tell her that some guy out there thinks she's doing a really great job raising you." Noah held the gift in his hands, his heart racing with excitement and surprise. He was filled with both gratitude and disbelief. "I don't even know how to thank you," he started, but Keanu waved his hand like it wasn't a big deal. "You don't owe me anything, Noah," Keanu said. "Just make her smile. That's enough." Noah nodded. He blinked hard to hold back the tears. He wanted to say so much more. He wanted to tell Keanu how much this meant to him. It wasn't just about the gift, it was about how Keanu had made Noah feel. For the first time, Noah felt like his small dream really mattered. But before he could find the words, Keanu had already walked to the counter. He motioned for the cashier to wrap the gift, and the transaction was quick. Keanu slid a $50 bill across the counter like it was nothing. Keanu's movements were smooth, like he was used to doing this kind of thing every day. The cashier handed over the wrapped gift, and Keanu passed it to Noah with a gentle nod. "You're set," Keanu said. His voice was light but firm. "Go make her day." Noah managed to say a shaky, "Thank you," his voice barely audible. But Keanu's eyes softened, like he understood everything Noah couldn't say. They were almost to the door when a sharp voice broke through the quiet store. "Mr. Reeves." Noah jumped, startled. A man in a sharp suit stepped forward. His shoes made loud clicking sounds on the floor. He was middle-aged, with a serious look on his face. He was carrying a clipboard, and Noah thought he looked way too fancy for a dusty hardware store. Keanu stopped walking. His body tensed for just a moment, and a tired look crossed his face. "Yeah," he said, his voice sounding neutral but cautious. The man didn't waste any time. "We need to talk now." Noah felt confused, looking between the two men. He held the gift tightly to his chest, unsure what was happening. Keanu's jaw tightened for just a second, but then he turned to Noah with a small, reassuring smile. "Hang tight, kid," Keanu said calmly. "This won't take long." Keanu stepped aside with the man, and their voices dropped to a quiet murmur that Noah couldn't hear. Noah stood there, holding the gift, feeling like everything had suddenly gotten strange. Who was this guy? What did he want with Keanu? And why did it feel like everything was about to change? Keanu glanced back at Noah once. His face looked unreadable, but his eyes were intense, like he was thinking about something important. Noah felt a chill run through him. Whatever was happening between Keanu and this stranger, it was something big. Noah stood frozen, his mind racing. Was Keanu going to walk away? Would this moment, this gift, be the last thing he ever remembered of this day? But Keanu didn't walk away. After a few moments, Keanu turned back to Noah. His face had changed, showing surprise but also something else, a spark of determination. Leo, the man with the clipboard, was still behind Keanu, scribbling something on his paper. But Keanu ignored him and walked back to Noah. He crouched down, looking Noah in the eyes. "Noah," Keanu said, his voice softer now. If your mom had a chance to do something bigger, something with her baking, what would you say? Noah blinked, his mind spinning. What did Keanu mean by that? Like what? He asked, unsure. Keanu's eyes stayed focused on him. Tell me what her dream is, Noah. Noah swallowed hard. He thought about his mom, Maya. He thought about all the nights she spent at the kitchen table, mixing dough and talking about her love for baking. She always talked about recipes like they were secrets to a better world. She had a dream, her own little bakery, where she could bake and share her creations with everyone. She always wanted a bakery, Noah said quietly. Just hers. But we can't afford it. She says it's silly to even think about it. Keanu's face softened. Noah could see a kind of understanding in his eyes, like Keanu knew exactly what he was feeling. It's not silly, Keanu said firmly. Not if it's hers. Before Noah could respond, Keanu stood up, his decision made. How about I take you home? He said casually, like it was no big deal. I'd like to meet her. Tell her she's got a hell of a kid. Noah's jaw dropped. He felt a mix of panic and excitement rush through him. You mean now? He asked. Keanu smiled, a rare, boyish grin that lit up his face. Yeah, now. Are you good with that? Noah couldn't speak. He was too stunned, but he nodded, still holding the package. Keanu led the way out of the store, and Noah followed, the gift bouncing lightly at his side. Outside, Keanu walked them to a black SUV parked on the curb. It wasn't the shiny, fancy car Noah expected. But somehow, it felt just right for Keanu, like a real person, not a movie star. They climbed into the car, the leather seats creaking under their weight. Keanu pulled out his phone and dialed a number while driving with the other hand. Leo, Keanu said into the phone, his voice sharp and serious. What you said in there, let it happen. Call whoever you need to. I'll check in later. Keanu hung up the phone without waiting for a reply. He glanced over at Noah, giving him a small, confident smirk. Buckle up, kid, he said. We're doing this. Noah did as he was told, his heart racing with excitement and fear. He had no idea what was happening, but he trusted Keanu's calm confidence. The drive didn't take long, and soon, they pulled up to a small wooden house on the edge of town. Noah pointed to it, his heart full of nervous excitement. The smell of freshly baked cookies filled the air as they stepped onto the creaky porch. It was the smell that made Noah feel safe, like everything was okay, even on the toughest days. He opened the door, calling softly, Mom, I'm home. And, someone's with me. Maya came into the room from the kitchen. She was wiping flour off her hands, her hair pulled into a messy bun. When she saw Keanu behind Noah, her eyes went wide in surprise. Oh my God, she whispered, her hand flying to her mouth. You're Keanu. Keanu smiled and nodded, stepping inside. Nice to meet you, Maya. Noah's been telling me all about you. Noah handed her the gift, his cheeks turning red. It's for you, he mumbled. Maya took the package, her fingers trembling as she unwrapped it. When she saw the wooden baking tools inside, her breath caught. She looked at Noah, then at Keanu, her face filled with confusion and gratitude. How did you? She asked. Keanu smiled gently and cut in. He saved up for you. He wanted to get you an oven, but I figured these might work better. He paused, his tone softening. You've raised someone pretty incredible, you know that? Maya's eyes welled up with tears. She looked at Noah, speechless, and then back at Keanu, still trying to understand what was happening. But the love and care in Keanu's words made it clear, this wasn't just about the gift. It was about the hope he was giving them, the chance to dream a little bigger. Noah stood quietly, watching as his mom held the gift close to her chest, a smile slowly spreading across her face. In that moment, everything felt possible. Maya's eyes filled with tears, and she quickly hugged Noah tightly. Her apron got flour marks all over his jacket, but she didn't seem to care. "I don't understand," she said, laughing through her tears as she let go of him. "Why are you here?" Keanu was leaning against the doorframe with his arms crossed. For a moment, it looked like he was thinking carefully about what to say next. "I ran into Noah at the store," he said casually. "I heard a bit about you. How you keep going and how you love what you do. It made me think." He looked at Noah for a second and then back at Maya. "Have you ever thought about making your bakery dream come true?" Maya blinked, surprised. She let out a little shaky laugh. "Every day," she said, her voice breaking. "But it's impossible. Look at this place. We barely get by." She waved her hand around the tiny living room. The walls were chipped, and the couch was old. Keanu didn't flinch. "Doesn't look impossible to me," he said quietly. "It just takes a push." Before Maya could argue, Keanu stood up straight, his eyes serious. "Here's the thing," he said. Then Noah heard something he wasn't expecting. "I met a guy, Leo. He's a filmmaker. He works on small projects, but he has a big heart. He heard Noah's story and he wants to make a short film about you. About your life, your baking, your fight to make your dream come true. He wants to follow you while you build that bakery from the ground up. The money's covered, enough to get you started." Maya's knees almost gave out. She grabbed the edge of the table, staring at Keanu like he had just spoken a different language. Noah's heart stopped for a second and then started racing, filled with a wild hope. "What?" Maya whispered, her voice shaking. Keanu stepped closer, his calm presence making the room feel steadier. "You just have to say yes," he said, his voice gentle. "Let them film it. Your work, your dream coming together. The money's there, Maya. All you need to do is take it." Maya shook her head in disbelief, not refusing, but just trying to understand. Tears started falling down her cheeks. "Why would you do this for us?" she asked. Keanu smiled a small, sad smile. "Because I've seen what happens when people don't get a chance," he said softly. "And I think you deserve one." Noah squeezed his mom's hand. His own eyes were starting to fill with tears. "Mom, you can do it," he said, his voice shaking. "You're the best. You always have been." Maya looked down at Noah, and then back at Keanu, her breath coming fast. I don't know what to say," she whispered, her fingers still holding onto Noah's. Keanu shrugged like it wasn't a big deal, but his eyes told a different story. "Just say yes," he said. "That's all you need to say." The room went quiet. Everything seemed to stop for a moment. The weight of Keanu's words felt like a promise, and Noah could feel it deep inside him. Something was changing. Keanu hadn't just come into the store by chance. He had walked into their lives, and things would never be the same. Maya stood frozen, holding Noah's hand. The air felt thick, full of hope and fear. "Say yes," Keanu repeated, like it was the easiest thing in the world. Maya looked between Keanu and Noah. The tears kept falling down her cheeks, but now they were mixed with joy and fear. I can't believe this," she whispered. She sank onto the edge of the table and pulled Noah into her arms, crying into his hair. "Noah, how is this happening?" Noah hugged her back, his own voice shaky but strong. "You deserve it, Mom. You do." Keanu watched them quietly, his arms crossed. A small smile tugged at his lips, but he didn't interrupt. He didn't hurry them. Instead, he walked over to the old sofa in the corner and sat down. It creaked under his weight. "Mind if I stay a bit?" he asked, his voice light but sincere. "That tea you're brewing smells really good." Maya blinked, wiping her face with the back of her hand. She managed a shaky laugh. You want to stay here? Keanu nodded, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Yeah, I could use a break. And some of that tea. A few minutes later, the three of them were sitting together. Maya was perched on a wobbly chair with a chipped mug of ginger tea. Noah sat cross-legged on the floor, and Keanu stretched out on the sofa with his own cup. The room felt even smaller with him in it, but it also felt warmer. His presence seemed to fill the empty spaces in the room. Maya stared at him, still half believing this was a dream. Keanu leaned forward, his voice calm. I've had my share of tough times, he said, his eyes drifting to the steam rising from his tea. Times when I didn't think I'd make it. But someone always showed up, gave me a push. That's all this is, Maya. A push. Noah watched him, wide-eyed, as Keanu's words sank in. Maya's hands tightened around her mug, her knuckles turning white. I've never let myself hope for this, she said, her voice breaking. It's always been about him, keeping us going. She glanced at Noah, who looked at her with quiet pride she hadn't seen in years. Something in her changed, just a little. A tiny spark of belief, fragile but real. As the night went on, Keanu stayed. They shared stories like old friends. When he finally stood up to leave, the clock showed it was well past midnight. He pulled an envelope out of his jacket and slid it across the table. Start-up cash, he said, his tone matter-of-fact. 10 grand. Enough to get the bakery off the ground while Leo figures out the rest. Maya's breath caught in her throat, and she shook her head. Keanu, I can't. He raised a hand to stop her. You can. I'll be back when the film starts, I promise. With a final nod, Keanu stepped out into the night, leaving them staring at the envelope like it was holding a miracle. A week later, the quiet of their little house was broken. Leo arrived with a small film crew. They brought equipment and started carrying it onto the porch. Behind them were some volunteers, friends of Keanu's from the industry. They were ready to work. Noah peeked out the window, his jaw dropping. They're building it, Mom, he whispered. Right here. Maya stepped outside, still a little dazed, as Leo explained that they were going to film her journey. But they weren't just filming. They were also going to turn their yard into a tiny bakery. There was a sign, written in chalk, that said, Maya's Bakery. The days that followed were busy and exciting. The film crew captured every moment. Maya was sketching plans for the bakery, and Noah was hammering nails beside the volunteers. The skeleton of the bakery slowly started to rise from the dirt in their yard. People from the neighborhood came to watch. Some were amazed, and others watched with tight lips, jealous of the dream that was coming true right in front of them. And so, Maya's bakery dream began to take shape, one step at a time, thanks to the push from Keanu and the support of those who believed in her. By the third day, people had started whispering. Then the whispers turned into rumors. She doesn't deserve this, someone said. Who does she think she is? Another person asked. Maya heard them one evening. She was in the kitchen, kneading dough for bread. Her hands were shaking. The mean words made her feel heavy, like a big rock was pressing on her chest. That night, Noah, her son, found her staring at the ceiling. Her eyes were red. She hadn't slept much. Mom, are you okay? Noah asked in a soft voice. Maya tried to smile. But the smile didn't look real. I don't know if I'm good enough, Noah, she said quietly. The next morning, something surprising happened. A big SUV car rolled up to their house. The sun was just starting to shine. Noah ran outside when he saw who it was. Keanu, he shouted, feeling happy and relieved. Maya came out too, walking slowly. She wasn't sure what was happening. Keanu stepped out of the car. But he wasn't alone. 3 more people came out behind him. They were wearing clean white aprons and looked very professional. "These are my friends," Keanu said. "They are chefs. They're here to help you learn more and get even better." Maya opened her mouth, but no words came out. She was too surprised. Keanu put a gentle hand on her shoulder. He spoke softly. "You're enough, Maya. More than enough. Let them help you. You can do this." The kitchen came alive with sound. There was laughter, the clinking of pans, and the smell of flour in the air. The chefs showed Maya how to do things she had only dreamed of. They praised her, kindly and honestly. Keanu stayed nearby. He helped Noah and made them feel calm and steady. By the end of the day, Maya's hands were no longer shaking. She smiled again. It was small, but real this time. "Thank you," she whispered to Keanu as he brushed flour off his jacket. Keanu shrugged, but his eyes looked kind and proud. "You've got this," he said. "Don't let anyone make you feel small." Weeks later, the big day finally came. Maya's dream had come true. The bakery was finished. It stood in the yard, with soft yellow wooden walls and a hand-carved sign above the door. Inside, the air smelled like cinnamon and fresh bread. Her breads and treats were lined up on the counter. Outside, a crowd had gathered. Everyone was excited. Leo, a friend, set up a big screen for the premiere of a movie. Noah stood beside his mom. His chest felt full of pride. Then, Keanu walked through the crowd. He didn't try to stand out. He just smiled and joined them. "Ready?" he asked. Maya nodded and held Noah's hand. Keanu gave her a pair of scissors. Together, they cut the ribbon. Everyone clapped and cheered. The movie started playing under the open sky. It showed a shaky, grainy video of Noah and Maya. It showed Maya opening the box with the baking tools. It showed them trying, failing, and trying again to build the bakery. It wasn't fancy, but it was beautiful. Every part of the movie showed how hard they had worked and how much they loved each other. When the screen showed Maya pulling her very first loaf of bread out of the oven, she was crying in the video. Now, in real life, everyone watching was quiet. Some people were even sniffing and wiping their eyes. Noah looked at his mom. Her eyes were shining with tears again. He felt his own eyes sting too. Keanu stood beside them, quiet. He watched the screen. Noah noticed a tiny smile on his face. When the movie ended, people didn't just clap. They rushed to the bakery window. They wanted Maya's bread. They wanted to taste what she had made. They gave her money and smiled as she handed out warm bags of baked goods. Noah helped her, proud and happy. Keanu stayed in the back, just watching. But Maya called out to him. "You're part of this," she said, giving him a warm roll. He took it. He smiled a little. "This is yours," he said quietly. "But I'm glad I was here." He didn't leave until the very last customer was gone. The night became soft and quiet. Noah looked at his mom again. This time, he saw someone new. Not just his mom, but a strong woman who had fought for her dream, and won. And Keanu, he had been the one to light the spark. He had helped when they needed it most. As the stars twinkled in the sky, Noah knew this wasn't just the start of a bakery. It was the start of something bigger. Maya's bakery wasn't just a place to buy bread. It became something special in the town. The yellow walls were like sunshine. People came for the golden loaves that melted in their mouths. But they stayed for the story. They stayed because they felt the love. The love between a mom and her son. The kindness of a stranger who had helped them believe. Maya hired 2 helpers for the bakery. They laughed and worked beside her. The bakery felt warm and happy. For the first time in many years, Maya didn't worry so much. She paid her bills. Her fridge was full. She smiled more and stood taller. Noah noticed it. He felt proud in a way he couldn't explain. He started dreaming too. He drew pictures and wrote in notebooks. He imagined a future where he could tell stories with a camera, stories like theirs. One rainy afternoon, the windows of the bakery were wet with raindrops. Keanu came back. Quietly. No one saw him at first. He wore a cap and sat in a corner. He ordered just one cookie, a simple chocolate chip, the kind Maya had made perfect. Noah spotted him and grinned. He poked his mom. Maya looked up and laughed softly. "You're back," she said, walking over with a tray of rolls. Keanu looked up at her and smiled with his eyes. "Couldn't stay away," he said, taking a bite. "This place, it's something special." He watched her lead the team, steady and calm. Before he left, he slid a small folded note across the table. Maya read it after the rush was over. Her breath caught when she saw what it said. "The world needs people like you too. Don't stop dreaming big." She held the note to her heart. Her eyes filled with happy tears. She handed the note to Noah. He read it too. He didn't say anything. He just looked at his mom. The boy who once had only $4 was now holding something much bigger, a dream they had built together. Keanu didn't say goodbye. He just slipped into the rain, leaving behind something they would always feel deep inside. That evening, Noah and Maya stood at the bakery window, side by side. The raindrops raced down the glass. In Maya's hands was the wooden box, the first gift, the one that started everything. She touched it gently. Noah leaned close to her. Their reflections blurred in the wet glass. They knew everything had changed, not just because of Keanu, but because of the love and hope they had shared. The bakery wasn't just a store. It was a dream come true. A reminder that even small kindnesses can grow into something big and beautiful. If you liked this story, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling adventures, mysteries, and unforgettable moments. Your support keeps these stories alive and the creativity flowing. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video.